One of the greatest emotional epidemics of modern times is the fact that our children have this very strong internal belief that they are not enough. And the inner pain that this inner belief of I'm not enough causes our children is enormous. It colors their entire life. It affects their self-esteem, their energy, their vibrancy, their love of life, their joy, because some of us don't even have to imagine, we know for ourselves that feeling not enough is one of the most painful inner feelings we can ever experience. Every day I see children and teens and young adults who have this belief, and they're hurting emotionally, academically, and physically because they cannot cope with that inner belief of I am not enough, I'm not enough for my parents, I'm not enough for my teachers, sometimes even just that I'm not enough for this world. What strikes me is that every one of these children have got the most supporting, loving parents, and yet they still struggle with low self-worth and low self-esteem. So I ask myself, why? Why? And it seems to me that what is happening is that with all the best intention and the greatest love in the world, we are constantly telling our children, try harder, do better, you can get better grades, you can behave in a better kind of way. And of course our intentions are very honorable, but we're constantly telling them to try better, to do more. And what they're really coming to is the conclusion that the way they are is not enough. So think about this. Our children come into the world, and at the moment that they are born, they are the closest to source than they will ever be in their lives again. They have this relationship with the divine, and they understand who they are, they feel absolutely whole, and they're able to love themselves unconditionally. They come into the world knowing exactly what feels right for them and what doesn't feel right for them. And they are operating in this magnificent higher frequency. And then what do? We look at this child and we say, no. You can't be doing that. You're not able to stay at that higher frequency because you've got to come down here where we are. And when you get down here, we need to make sure that you fit into the box. Into the box of society, the box of the parenting, the box of the family, the box of the school. So we can't go up there with you. You've got to come down here with us. The thing is that as parents, we were also born with this higher self. And in exactly the same way as I just described, we got disconnected from that higher self by our parents. And that's exactly what we start to do to our children. We disconnect them from their higher self. And in the process, the child comes to the conclusion that who I am and the way I am is not enough. Before long, this belief, which is a neural circuit or a neural pathway in their brain, becomes their script for life. And it cuts them off from their capacity for greatness, which actually lives inside of them. The saddest part of all for me is that that belief implanted in our children of I am not enough is the very last thing in the whole world that we would have ever wanted to do. So let's take a look at some of the clues you could look for. Because you may be saying to yourself, well, Dr. Sandy, I don't know whether my child has this not enough belief or not. So let me give you a few clues. First of all, I must say that many of the children who come to visit with me and the parents who come to visit me tell me that the child actually says those words. I have heard time and time again in my consulting room that 7-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 11-year-olds, especially teenagers, tell me that they feel like they're not enough. And many parents will tell me that the children talk about being not enough. They often say things to put themselves down, like I'm so stupid, or I'm not as smart as Peter, or I can't do this. They have extremely high expectations of themselves. They really push themselves so hard, and they have this really tough inner judgment of themselves all the time. They judge themselves so harshly. But here's another clue. They become angry, resentful, defiant, withdrawn. They have meltdowns, temper tantrums. And we tend to see those symptoms, but if you look behind those symptoms, guess what you find is a child who feels like they're not enough. But it is manifesting in that kind of negative way. Many of them are afraid to try new things for fear of failing. The thought of failure is just terrifying for them, so they would rather go into freeze than actually attempt something. A lot of the children become perfectionistic and or obsessive compulsive. You know, perfectionism is really just a way of the child trying to control their world so that they can feel safe and feel like they are being enough. And the same with being obsessive compulsive. Of course, these children are easily stressed, and the final clue is that they develop stress-related conditions. And I've got some amazing, exciting, wonderful news for you, and that is that we can rewire that belief. That belief that your child may have, which is wired into their brain, I'm not enough, and they go there many times during the day. We can rewire that brain. I'm going to say it again. We can rewire that neural pathway to create a new neural pathway which says, I am so enough. So tune in for the next lessons, because I'm going to teach you how to rewire your child's I'm not enough belief. And of course, what's absolutely vitally important is that you know that you are so enough.